The last time there was a crack in the shell of the universe, it was because of Vamanadev. He did it. Of course, he's the Lord, so for him it's very easy. He just stretched his legs and his toe just touched the universe, the edge of the universe, and it cracked. And a drop of the Kanana ocean, of the causal ocean, came into the universe. And that drop washed the lotus toe of Lord Vamana. And since there was kumkum on the toe of Lord Vamana, the water became reddish. And so it descended in a reddish color. And that water then, the demigods saw it coming. And they were very happy. They got themselves some kumbhas. And in these kumbhas, they caught the celestial waters and they carried it on their head. And they brought it down. And as they were bringing it down on their head, they went all through the heavenly regions. And when they came to the border of the heavenly regions, then they took these pots and just turned them upside down. And all the water fell out and it came downwards and it stormed towards earth. And it would have put out all the bushfires and more than that. It would have smashed the entire earth, yes. So, therefore, it was an emergency. And Lord Shiva agreed to save the situation. Now, Lord Shiva, he has a lot of hair. And it's like matted locks sitting on his head, dreadlocks, big. So when the water came upon the head of Lord Shiva, it disappeared in his hair and didn't come back out. So that was a bit of a disappointment, at least for the residents on earth who knew what was happening, who knew that now the celestial waters of the Ganga were about to reach earth, and just before reaching earth, Lord Shiva had taken it all on his head. So Manas Bhagirathi, he came and he worshipped Lord Shiva, and then Lord Shiva happily agreed to release Ganga. And Ganga then followed Maharaj Bhagirathi, who rode on his horse ahead of the water, and in this way determined the course of the Ganga, and drove all the way to the ocean, to the Ganga Sagar, and there the Ganga merged into the ocean. We know. Then, what happened next? Ganga didn't stop. Ganga didn't stop there. Ganga went further. And Ganga also went down to the lower planetary regions. Lower planetary regions. There Ganga was known as the Bhogavati. And actually no one knew that it was holy waters. Therefore, there nobody paid special attention to the Ganga, but by accident some people would fall in the water. By accident, you know, somehow or other they would touch the water, and even if they didn't, the breeze of the water would purify them anyway. In the heavenly regions, Ganga is known as Akash Ganga, or known as Sweta Ganga, and yes, there Ganga is flowing, and Ganga is white. There, yes. Somehow or other we can see. Nowadays known as the Milky Way. And that's actually the Akash Ganga, for those who know. Anyway, why did the demigods try to catch Ganga in these celestial kumbhas? And then they carried these kumbhas on their heads, and then they came to the borderline of the regions, of the heavenly regions, and then released the water. Why? Why did they catch it in kumbhas if they were anyway gonna carry it and then throw it down? Why did they just let it come down on its own? It was coming down. Because the demigods, they understood. They understood is concentrated mercy. That's water. I don't want water. The demigods understood that this is the concentrated mercy of the Lord. And therefore, the demigods decided that we could just sit here and we could receive that holy water on our heads and we would get the mercy. We could offer our obeisances and then receive the water, and this way we'd get the mercy. But if we would take the mercy and carry it in pots on our heads, right, and then distribute it, then we would get a lot more mercy. Because then we would be part of distributing the mercy. And then the mercy that we would get would increase. Therefore the demigods were very intelligent when they caught the Ganga in these kumbhas. And in this way they became part of distributing the mercy to the universe. And therefore, and that is the way to get most mercy. Therefore the demigods took most advantage of the Ganga. Then Ganga came down, Lord Shiva caught Ganga on his head, and Maharaj Bhagirathi and all that. And then from that day on, so many people would take bath in the Ganga. Everywhere. Ganga Snan is happening all over, all along the banks of the Ganga. Some, they go right at Gomukh on the ice, right? It's like sit there on the top of the Himalayas in the ice water. I mean, like, that's cold. That's definitely cold. Oh. I have taken bath with Mahavishnu Swami, right? And Mahavishnu Swami, he just jumps in ice cold water and says, Hare Krishna, he brings his brush and everything, scrubs his back, he gets into it, right? Me, I just, as I land in the water, I fly straight out. I mean, it literally takes seconds from going into the water to coming out. 1 or 2 seconds, not more. It's cold. It's really cold. But full of mercy. So, of course, all along the banks of the Ganga, there are bathing gods on earth. And pious souls are going there to take their bath in the Ganga. And they get great benefit. But of course, it's not the same as what the demigods got, but still, it's pretty good. Down in the lower regions, there really no one knows what Ganga is, and no one, it's just another river. And they just treat it like another river, or whatever they do to rivers, I don't know. But purification is only accidental. So in the same way, we can deal with transcendental knowledge. We can take transcendental knowledge and we can passively... We can take transcendental knowledge passively and just do nothing, or we can take transcendental knowledge actively. Or we don't even know what happened. That is agyata sukriti. The neighbors, they don't know what happened, right? They were quite sure that maybe the Melbourne Zoo was temporarily parked here in this house, or something to that effect. I mean, from their point of view, they had no idea what really is going on here. But it doesn't matter, they got the benefit anyway. And you can sure that not only the immediate neighbors, but I'm sure the whole street got it, right? I mean, that's for sure. So that's very good. And not only the human beings, but also the animals, and also the germs, and even the small creatures that exist between the atoms in the wall. Therefore, the walls of this house have been transformed, right? Even if the devotees would move out, if someone else would move in this house, the walls would still be resonating with the result, with the effect of the Mahamantra. All the Sukshma Jivas, the subtle entities that are between the atoms in the wall, they have also been touched by the holy name. So in this way, the holy name is transforming everything, right? So the house has also been transformed. The street even has been changed and transformed. Whoever gets touched by the mantra is transformed. Those who are chanting the mantra in awareness of the potency of the mantra, they are getting greater benefit than those who are accidentally touched. Those who choose to chant the mantra, they are getting the benefit of that choice again and again. And therefore, they get more mercy. And those who somehow or other are eager to distribute the mantra to others, even while chanting themselves, right? While chanting themselves to distribute the mantra to others, they get the most benefit. It says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi-lila chapter 8, that it says that if one takes the fruit of love of God and distributes them to others, then one finds that one has more than one had before. So as we give away, the stock is increasing, not getting any less. Usually, whatever you give away, that's one less, right? Two less. But in this case, only gain, only gain. So this is very auspicious, very, very wonderful. The chanting of the holy name. So just like the descent of the Ganga, where it is described how the demigods and how human beings and how in lower planetary systems they dealt with the Ganga, in the same way we can deal with the holy name. Or for that matter, with transcendental knowledge. One can take transcendental knowledge and apply that transcendental knowledge to the welfare of the world. Or one can take transcendental knowledge and take advantage for it in his own life. Or one can, accidentally be touched by transcendental knowledge. People never knew what hit them, but somehow or other, accidentally, it happens. We do these school programs sometimes, and that's very potent, right? Like, imagine you have a class and a bunch of kids of 11 years old, and there's Hare Krishna, right? I did such a program, right? And I remember that, I had a few minutes of kirtan, not too heavy, right? Because I didn't want to blow them out on the first on the first day, so kind of sweet, and the kids were enthusiastic. And then there was a little talk, and the kids was enthusiastic, and then it turned out that in the school there was one girl of 11 who had pushed the teacher to have the program in the first place and who invited us. So anyway, gave that girl some special attention, and then the teacher got enthusiastic, and then the teacher said, "Let's have a little more kirtan." And then they had like these little benches, I remember, little wooden benches, and they lined up all the benches, and all the kids were on the benches, and then I was rocking it, and they all jumped off the benches and started jumping up and down like anything, and I was sort of like over my shoulder, looking at the teacher if it was still okay. And I saw that the teacher was also jumping. And then, you know, a few years later, that girl of 11, when she was 15, she became my disciple. And then a few years after that, the teacher also became my disciple. So, school programs are powerful. But even if it doesn't always go in that way, you know, that people give their whole life to Krishna, at least it's something you never forget, you know. The Hare Krishnas came in my school. Huh? I remember very well all the times that I saw the Hare Krishnas. I remember in one case, I was on a bus and there was an empty seat next to me, and this white Hare Krishna, ultra white, you would say. You'd think he'd been washed with some special washing powder. I mean, like that kind of Hare Krishna. Totally white, everything white about him. He comes in on the bus, and I already felt it. Oh my God, there's an empty seat next to me. And sure enough, you know, and he came and he sat next to me. I went into the wall of the bus as much as I could, and he looked at me, a karmi, and I looked at him, and that was all there was, the only exchange there was. Still, it stayed with me. Still, I never forgot. It still made a very strong impression in my mind, just that. If he would have given me an invitation to the temple, who knows? Maybe I would have gone. Anyway, he didn't. So I didn't go, and I didn't even know there was a temple. If he would have told me there was a restaurant, maybe I would have gone. Like that, you know, a little thing. If he would have talked to me, I would have looked for the emergency exit, for sure. Right? At that point, if he would have talked to me, I would have felt like totally shocked. But then again, who knows? Maybe after the ice would have been broken, it could have influenced me. But he didn't, so it didn't happen. I was traveling for a while with a boy from England. He also became my disciple. And we would be on the plane, and, you know, I want to sit on the aisle so I can, you know, get up when I want to, right? So, okay, I'm good at it. I get my aisle seat, you know, like. So I got the aisle seat, and then he had the middle seat. So there was someone against the window with 2 Hare Krishnas next to him. So that is a bit intense, right? That's a bit intense when you sit at the window and it's 2 Hare Krishnas. Anyway, person just, then suddenly the devotee next to me goes, "Can you say Hare Krishna?" And the person at the window is like, I mean, totally shocked. He doesn't know what to say. Can't say a word. Say it, say it, say it, say it. And then he goes, "Say ha." Now, he says, "Say ha." At that stage, I started acting as if I was not with him. I mean, I don't know this guy from Adam. I never met him in my life. I don't know what he's doing here. Just too embarrassing, you know. And he liked to do this. It was something, he was into it, you know, so whenever he had an opportunity, he would do it. Right? It's really embarrassing. But anyhow, so some people obviously were totally shocked and just traumatized for life, I guess. But other people, they did it. And then they said, "Hare Krishna." And before you knew it, you know, he was giving them instructions about their life and what to do and what not to do and everything, right? Full package. 100% no. And there are 4 regulating principles. 4, okay? You gotta spell it out, you know, make them repeat it until they get it, you know, you got it, you know. You will follow this, right? You will follow it. So intense, right? And then, but some people, they really surrendered to him. They followed him to the luggage belt, you know? And they're still asking more questions about their life. Yeah, it's really like quite amazing. So, somehow or other, there are no hard and fast rules. This chanting of the holy name can be done very carefully, you know. Everybody dress up in jeans, you know. Everybody, plain clothes. We are first. We're not gonna, on the first session, chant, you know, an hour of Hare Krishna. No, 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 no. We first do 4 minutes Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Then we do 7 minutes Govinda Jaya Jaya. After that, we can do Vande Krishna Nanda Kumar, right? And then we can do 3 minutes of Hare Krishna, and we end finally with a good Nitai Gaur Haribol, you know. Very covered, indirect, 007, James Bond. Did you know that James Bond is a Hare Krishna? You didn't? Did you know? He is, yeah. He's one of ours. Undercover agent. 007. So we have all kinds of approaches. Whether it is the straight in your face. Can you say ha? Can you say ha? Ray? Krish? No. Very good. Hare Krishna. We used to sell the Krishna book door to door. And I would tell the people, this is the KRSNA book. Somehow or other, I tell them, this is the KRSNA book, you know. It's really good. It's, oh, that's far out, KRSNA. They never get it was Krishna anyway. The spelling was anyway Sanskrit, KRSNA, you know. So that settled that. Ah, really? Yeah. So yeah, you know, and we do things. The long-awaited, it's finally released. I mean, I think you heard about it, isn't it? The KRSNA. I'm sure you saw the, you know, you saw it on TV, didn't you? The KRSNA. Or you read the ad in the paper. I mean, everybody in the whole country today, this month, everyone in the country gets the KRSNA book. Yeah, and we go around, and then I go on Christmas Day itself. It was really good because the people said, "Oh, you're out here on Christmas?" And I go, "Yeah, I gotta do 50 of these books before I can home and, you know, celebrate Christmas with my family." And all the ladies felt so sorry for me. They all took a book, you know. Christmas is really good. I like it. Was my favorite day. Yeah, that was the best day. So, whether we are presenting Krishna consciousness directly or indirectly, will find customers, that's for sure. Some people, they will not talk to me because I wear an orange dress, right? But some people will talk to me because I wear an orange dress, actually. So many people talk to me. Too many people. I mean, really, like more than I want. Leave me, leave me alone. It's very good to have a dress like this. All kinds of people appreciate it. You know, I was in Africa, and a businessman just bows down right on the middle and on the airport. African businessman, black businessman, suit, tie, the whole thing. You never know, you know, who is who. I mean, he's a lawyer in Canberra, Supreme Court. There he is, you know. Doesn't, I mean, blank out the face, you know. And anyway, so yes, you may meet all kinds of people. In Gainesville, Florida, it's like in the middle of nowhere. That's like really out there in the bush, you know, Gainesville. It sounds like it too, like, you know, Gainesville. Yeah. Well, in that place, Gainesville, you know, like somehow or other. Srila Prabhupada said that anybody who gives me $1,000 donation for my book fund and who purchase tickets for me and the secretaries and so on, I will go there. Hridayananda Maharaj said, yes. And he took Prabhupada to Gainesville. Now, Gainesville is quite amazing, because in Gainesville, since then, they have been distributing prasadam at the university, right? And that's like, you know, they fed students for generations now. And at one point, they wanted to open a restaurant, and but it's a little difficult to get a license, you know, these things are trippy, right? So they applied for a particular building, but the permit was denied. So then they decided to go to the mayor. So, okay, they went to the mayor and to ask for some special permission. So, you know, like, Excellency, Hare Krishna, restaurants, like, and the guy says, the mayor says, you have any of that food? Yeah? And said, oh, I can arrange that. Okay. They brought a full meal. Mayor ate the whole meal. And it turns out that the mayor was one of the students in the university who was regularly taking food for life. And, you know, in between the pakoras and the sweet rice, he said, what was that? You want me to sign again? And signed. So it's not always that it comes in one way, that there is one way to bring Krishna consciousness to others, and that is the way. No, it is anybody who gets touched by it, just like the Ganga. I mean, we went in Vrindavan and did a parikrama, went to many holy places, and one devotee just slipped on the steps and fell into Prem Sarovar. That's not bad. That was a good accident. I mean, next time, put something slippery under your shoes, you know. I think, yeah. Somehow or other, we get the mercy. This year, the devotees didn't go down so much to Prem Sarovar after I told the story, but then I went down. So then some followed me, then I started to throw water, then they all came down. So, whatever, that was lots of fun, you know. I mean, this is like one of the moments of enjoyment in Krishna consciousness. that when you do an arti, right, the fun moment is that you get to throw water on people. This is like, and they get a lot of benefit from it at the same time. They get purified. So this is a good thing, you know. Any kid, right? Water pistol. You know those big machine gun water things? With a gallon of water in, you pull it. It's like throwing a bucket on someone, you know them? Should ask one for your birthday. And you fill it with Maha water, okay? Not ordinary water. Otherwise it's no fun. Maha water. And you just, you know? And you just shoot all the devotees and non-devotees, and if anyone says anything, this is Maha water. Birthday list, you know. Yes, like this, somehow or other, to be touched by this mercy. It is, after all, from the spiritual world, is Chintamani Prakara Satmasu Kalpa Vriksha. Everything is made of touchstone in the spiritual world. Whatever we come in touch with has a transcendental nature and increases our transcendental nature. Whatever we associate with in the spiritual world is purifying and increases our love for Krishna. That is the nature of the spiritual world. So all we have to do is bring that out. The mercy. Through kirtan, through prasadam, through books, through whatever way we can connect people with the Sankirtan and the friends. Cookies at work. Yeah, there you go. It's like, you know, my wife makes these cookies, you know. They're really good. But, you know, I gotta watch it, you know. Things start growing in the wrong places. So, help me out, mate. Have a cookie. There you go. Get a whole cookie program going. Right? Easy, easy. So there are many ways that we can somehow or other connect people to Krishna. And as soon as we do, it begins. The transformation begins. Yeah, Bibi Govinda Maharaj told me that he used to preach in Israel and they had an undercover restaurant. No one knew. It was a Hare Krishna restaurant. And they were hiring some waiters for the restaurant. And then one of the waiters one day said, "I'm not going to eat that food anymore." Said, "It's doing something strange to me." And said, like, you know, I don't know. He said, "I don't have the same desires I used to have," you know what I mean? Like, you know, romantic desires, they diminished. And just by eating in the restaurant, although it was all undercover. So, again, too full, you have to empty that. No, it's I can't drink. Whoever makes the tea, don't fill it up to the brim, because then in a metal cup you can't drink it. Good stuff. So, in the Vedic culture, the Brahmanas touch water for purification. And then we begin. And then, when we have prepared and are in a proper state, then we can approach transcendental knowledge properly. Then one can study. First, the purification. Because there has to be the proper attitude. The attitude of respect. The attitude of openness. If we have barriers, yes, we still get touched. But it's not the same as respectfully receiving transcendental knowledge. So in this way, ye yatamam prapadyante tamstateva bhajami aham, that as someone is surrendering unto me, I reward them accordingly. That is the point. That is the point. So in this way, yes, we treat Krishna with respect, transcendental knowledge with respect. When one has Srimad Bhagavatam in the house, this morning someone took a set of Bhagavatam, and sometimes I distribute like a dozen sets of Bhagavatams, just in a program like this, yeah. Because if you actually take a set of Srimad Bhagavatam for your house, then your house transforms. Srila Prabhupada said, then your house becomes a temple. A temple is not an ordinary place, right? Your house becomes transcendental. So do you have Srimad Bhagavatam in your house? If you don't have it, then you can buy it from me. And I will sign it for you. And in that way you get some special blessings, right? Yes. And I will bless all your babies as well. No problem. So it's a good deal. You have to consider it. We can even bless the unborn babies, no problem. We can even bless the babies that will be conceived in the future. No problem. Always possible. So, and somehow or other, when we have Srimad Bhagavatam, yes, and we begin, we see in the Bhagavatam there are basically parallel stories, and stories within stories. First of all, there is the story of Maharaj Pariksit, who is cursed, right? But that story comes a little later. Earlier comes the sages of Naimisaranya and Sutta Goswami. Sutta Goswami comes to Naimisaranya. Naimisaranya is a very significant place because Naimisaranya is the place where the Lord never closes his eyes. So it is said in Naimisaranya. Therefore, whatever is performed in Naimisaranya brings a special benefit because the Lord is always there, witnessing everything. So, then they asked Sutta Goswami to speak because Sutta Goswami was there when Sukadev Goswami spoke to Maharaj Pariksit. Later then we get the story of Sukadev Goswami. So of course Bhagavatam was first spoken by Sukadev to Maharaj Pariksit and then heard by Sutta Goswami and later spoken to Naimisaranya. But in Bhagavatam we first go to Naimisaranya and later to the bank of the Yamuna and hearing where Maharaj Pariksit is hearing. And Maharaj Pariksit is asking a number of questions. Maharaj Pariksit is asking questions. What is the duty of a man who is about to die? No, okay, you know, that's sort of was obvious for him because he was cursed to die within 7 days. But it's relevant for everyone because one day, you know, you may as well be prepared, right? The sages of Naimisaranya are also asking questions. The sages of Naimisaranya, they had tried to stop the beginning of the age of Kali, and they had performed an Agnihotri Yajna for a very long time. And as they had done so, it is said that their faces had become black from the smoke and their hearts were filled with doubt. Because they were not sure if their yajna actually had the power. They didn't know if they had the purity. We can relate to that because we also have some doubt about our own devotional credits. We're here, all nice, everything is there, neck beads, tilak, the works, but we also have that one issue, you know, and we think, yeah, Krishna gives his mercy, you know, to the pure devotees, but are we pure devotees? Are we pure enough? Don't worry, Krishna gives mercy to every devotee. But so, in this way, Maharaj Pariksit, the sages had been trying to ward off the age of Kali and they were not so sure if it would work. So they were very eager to hear from Sutta Goswami because Sutta Goswami had heard the Srimad Bhagavatam. They knew that. And they knew that the Bhagavatam is most special among scriptures because it directly describes Lord Krishna, the Supreme Lord. So they really wanted to hear the Bhagavatam. And so the sages were asking some questions, and this is in the Bhagavatam. So now how is it the sages wanted to hear the Bhagavatam and the sages are in the Bhagavatam? Someone might ask that question. Your Honor. We file an objection. Anyway, the sages of Naimisaranya were asking, what is the essence of all scriptures? So that was a very, very good question because there's so many scriptures and who can read them all? So this is the age of Kali, and in the age of Kali, we want everything quick and instant, you know, everything easy. Right? So the way that the essence of all scriptures, the answer to that question is found also in the Bhagavatam as Savai Pumso Paru Dharmo Yata Bhakti Radoksa Je Haitiga Patiyata Yatma Supasidati. It is pure devotional service, which is uninterrupted, unmotivated, that can completely satisfy the self. So that's the essence of all scriptures. Something that can completely satisfy the self. See, we're getting to the point. Now, that makes sense, because scriptures are full of all kinds of things, but what can completely satisfy the self? We do many things. It is said, Shruti Mitre Bharatamanya Bachantabhava Bhitta Aham Nandan Vande Yasya Linda Param Brahma. Some are worshipping the Shruti, that's the 4 Vedas. Some are worshipping the Smriti. But some are worshipping, again, others are worshipping the Mahabharata or the Ramayana. But they are doing so out of fear. Out of fear. Yes, yes, yes. We are worshipping this demigod, that demigod, because we don't want anything to happen. Oh yes. Jai Jagadish Hare, don't let anything bad come my way. That is worship out of fear. Let everything be peaceful. Yes. So, but that is the lower. the lower level of worship. So that's not worship to fully satisfy ourselves. That's not worship to fully satisfy ourselves. Worship to fully satisfy ourselves is not worship just to counteract some bad reactions, some karma kanda. No. Worship that fully satisfies the self, right, has to bring the most blissful results. So that is devotional service. By devotional service you fully satisfy the self. How? Do you become rich then or something? No. By pure devotional service, what do you get? What do you get? What do you get from pure devotional service? From pure devotional service, you get more pure devotional service. And from more pure devotional service, you get more pure devotional service. And from that, you get still more pure devotional service. It's increasing. So, this knowledge we get from Srimad Bhagavatam. And then we can transform our house. Therefore, in your house there must be Srimad Bhagavatam. Think about it. I give you 24 hours because somehow or other we didn't bring the Bhagavatam here. But I'm sure in the temple we have some stock of Bhagavatam. Many sets? 24. 24. So we have only 24 sets. And there's a lot more people. So I'm sorry, some of you will have to go disappointed. They will not have an original Bhagavatam set signed by Kadamba Swami, and they will not have the blessings for their babies. Sorry. But 24 people can have. When do we do that? Tomorrow morning? Sure. Yeah, tomorrow morning. Those who come first. Yeah. First come, first served. That's the way it is. So think about it. They're very cheap. Isn't it, Parambrahma?
Only $500.
It's a steal. It's actually... One time, I was on a plane and I sat next to a lady, and she was a yoga teacher, and we were on the way to India, and she was going to Iyengar for practicing yoga and this, that, she was, you know, and Hatha yoga. And then this lady, she liked my saffron dress and so on, and she says like, yes, and who are you, you know, like, I mean, what are you doing? I said, well, you know, I'm part of Hare Krishna. She said, oh no, Hare Krishna, oh no, not Hare Krishna. I said, you have a bad experience with Hare Krishna or something. She said, you know, I have one problem. I cannot say no. Now imagine, you know, Hare Krishna in the marathon meets someone who cannot say no. You know, she got a full set, not only a set of Bhagavatam, but she got the whole book cupboard, you know, the whole thing, right? Everything, all Prabhupada's books she got, you know. And then, of course, you know, she paid thousands of dollars, I guess. And then she came home, well, with the books. Later that day, her husband comes home. He looks at like, what's that? You know? And then she tells the whole story. And then he goes, you got cheated, big drama, you know. Anyway, what to do? They had the books, so they're on the bookshelf. And every family party, you know, these are her books, and they're always good for a laugh, you know. How she got cheated, and this, that, and check it out. Look at us, you know. I mean, you know, it's our, you know. everyone's cracking jokes about her books. So she was like so depressed. Then I said to her, "Did you read them?" She said, "No, I didn't." I said, "Oh, if you read them, you will find that they're actually really good. So, and then you can just tell everyone, they're actually really good." She said, "This is great. You've solved my problem. For years I've been stuck. I'm going to read all these books. Right? I'm going to read all these books and I'll tell them that they're really good." So that's like, I hope it happens. So somehow or other, right? Get these books. Because actually they are really good. And not only the books are really good, but they make you really good as well. And that's not bad. So therefore, do not hesitate about a crummy $500, you know. You'll get over it. It hurts a little. But when you read the Bhagavatam and realize that you actually have the Bhagavatam, it's very good. And if it's absolutely impossible, we'll make some arrangement. We'll work it out. We'll have special arrangements for special people. Anyway, so those were commercials straight from the spiritual world. And everyone gets the benefit. Me too. And the baby. Even if your baby is big, or even if your husband is like a baby. You might wonder why I'm making so many jokes. It must be the tea. Okay, I'll chant for 5 minutes and then I'm gonna end. Oh, it's so good. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Shri Prabhupada ki Harinam Sankirtan Yajadeda Ananta Kopi Vaishnava. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Sarira Vidya Yorindriya Tekava Jivagale Visaya Sagre Tanmaje Divayati Bhavamay Sadhyamati Targita Katina Sansare Krishna Varadayanoy Kore Bala Divadai Matra Jana Dilovai Sekta Mikta Bhav Radha Krishna Gunnagao Ringa Toti Tani Dai Dani Mai Dani Dai Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Mahaprasada ki jai. Oh, Hare Krishna.